Welcome to Shedding Shackles. Today's topic is putting on new clothes from God. And now here's your Shedding Shackles host, Roland Trujillo.
In the writings of Paul the Apostle, there are many references that he makes to putting on garments, to putting on clothing. He talks about, for example, putting on the garments or the clothing of forgiveness, mercy, kindness, long-suffering, patience. He talks about putting on Christ. And we're told that we are new, a new creation, reborn of God. Reborn of God. And so all is new. And then we are wrapped or clothed in wonderful things. And we put on Christ. You remember those references? Well, let's talk about that. Now, when you were a little child, everything was fresh and new, and it was beautiful. Now, when you look around, it's the same old, over and over again, the same old, same old. So there has to be something new and fresh and alive and filled with delight and filled with wonderful things and awe and wonder and discovery, something new. Wouldn't that be nice? It was so nice when Einstein, for example, when he discovered, his famous discoveries. It was a wonderful year. They called it the miracle year when he published those papers. It was just fantastic. There was an air of excitement in the air because of these new discoveries. But now it's the same old. And everything is bogging down. Have you noticed? Everything's bogging down. And where's the freshness? Where's the aliveness? Oh, sure, there's a pretense of it when you listen to some new tune, or there's some new style, or there's a new car, or, But it's basically the same old. We need something new, creative, alive. Yes, once in a while people come with something new, a Beethoven, an Einstein, an Albert Einstein, a Stephen Jobs. Something new. That's what we need. But not something ridiculous like some of the new music that you hear. Or it's just ridiculous. Something truly filled with promise. See, because something new that's really good, then it spawns good things. Christ said, by their fruit you will know them. Discovery leads to discovery. And there's an air of excitement. Well, that's what it was like when you were a little child, when you wiped the sleepy cobwebs from your eyes in the morning and leapt from bed and ran across the carpet barefoot, looking forward to a day of adventure and discovery. And you discovered many things. You had the bright nature, the bright consciousness. You were close to God. Closer to God then than you've ever been since. You had that brightness. And you saw the world with innocent eyes. And everything was filled with delight. The butterflies that you saw, the pebbles, the sky, the clouds floating by. Everything was just delightful. Well, you were new to the world. Charles Dickens has a very beautiful quote. He said about children, he said, "I love the little people." And he said, "It is no small thing when they, who are yet fresh from God, love us." Fresh from God. And so it must be with the reborn person. The reborn person of God is fresh from God. And the world is filled with delight and wonder and awe and discovery. And it's a new creation. behold, all things are new, says the Scripture. And so it shall be in your life. Should you begin the path to God, to the Father you've never known. May it begin. I'm a man with a microphone, so people ask. No, I don't have a church. I do not have a church. All that would do is cramp my style, and besides, I want to set you free, not tie you down with more church, more doctrines, more obligations, more labels. People say, I'm a this, or I'm a that, or I'm a that, or I'm a this. All it does is divide you up from the commonality, the brotherhood and sisterhood of humankind. That's all it does. I don't need any labels. I'm just a person. And I open my mouth and I talk. And if what I say strikes a responsive chord, then that's good. We're talking today about being fresh from God. You must experience being fresh from God. But you can only experience it when it happens, and only when He makes it happen. Of yourself, you can do nothing. That's what Christ said. He said, of myself, I can do nothing. Of yourself, you can do nothing. You can't make it happen. If you try to make it happen, it won't happen. So what can you do? Well, let me see if I can give you a little hint. You need to awaken. I was listening yesterday to something on Christian radio, and they were talking about it was some author. He was talking about revival, but he said, well, revival would be this and this. But then he said, what we need is an awakening. An awakening. You've probably heard the term, the Great Awakening. That's what we need, is an awakening. But that's what you need. That's what you need, is an awakening. So let's talk about an awakening. I'll give you an example. I don't think this is one I've given before. I just wrote about it in the introduction to my new book, which is very soon going to be published. It's ready, very close to ready. And I gave this example because many of you have experienced this, and you'll immediately know what I'm talking about. One day you open a drawer, or perhaps you open a closet, and then you stumble upon something that reminds you of someone who you love, or of some happy moment from the past. Maybe a children's toy, or a garment from your child, or a picture. And it makes you sad. It's a kind of a sadness that's hard to describe to those who haven't experienced it. But if you have, you know what I'm talking about. You feel a regret, a remorse, like it was a beautiful moment, and now it's gone. And you realize that years have passed, and over those years you got lost in the cares of the world and selfish pursuits. And you wish now that you had spent more moments, simple moments, sweet, quiet moments, golden moments with your child or your partner, or just enjoying the sweet things of life, instead of rushing around. And the years went by, and of them nothing good came. And so you are chastened, you are quiet, and perhaps you sob, yes, you cry. Sobs, quiet sobs to yourself, a regret for things past that can no longer be recovered. But here's the important thing. There's no bitterness in it. There's no resentment in it. It's just a quiet knowing. You awaken. That's what it is. It's an awakening to the truth of the sweetness of those moments, and the truth about your having lost them by being selfish and caught up in things and missed more of them. And a gladness, glad to have had that moment. You appreciate it. You wish You could have appreciated it more at the time. And so it's a glad sad. You're glad you had the moment. And you're sad to see your own failing to appreciate at that time, or to be quiet instead of rushing around ambitiously and willfully and excitedly and angrily. Do you see that moment? Well, now that's a moment of awakening. And if you do not resent seeing the truth, and if you don't try to make something happen, if you don't quickly dismiss it and reach for your iPhone, or if you don't try to get rid of it right away, but just bear, it's a little painful, it is, but it's, like I said, it's a sweet moment. If you just bear it, and then you are chastened. You are chastened, you are softened, and that could be your moment of awakening that will change your life, because you're awakening to truth and to love. That's it. You're awakening to truth and to love, and it softens you and chastens you. It makes you more thoughtful. It makes you a better human being. Hi, this is Roland. Just wanted to say hi to all the listeners in Southern California, in Kansas City and Indianapolis, Indiana, and around the world on the internet. And I just want you to know that this is like an infomercial. I'm only on once a week. Of course, if you stumble upon me at my website, and of course, or if you hear me on the radio and then go to my website, well, you can listen to the archives there where I have radio programs going back a long way. And you can preview my books and start watching some of my YouTube lectures, which are just outstanding. But I want you to know that this is just an infomercial. And you're only going to hear it once a week if you're listening on the radio. So you've got to write down the web address, sheddingshackles.com, and find it. Or go to my YouTube channel or something. But best thing is to find my website, sheddingshackles.com, because when you do, then you'll be able to stay in touch. See, because you're not going to get this anywhere else hardly. It's hard to find this anywhere. Something that is not the same old, something that has an awakening quality. That's what you need, is to wake up. You need to wake up to truth and wake up to love. Become a real human being instead of rushing around angrily, resentfully, pridefully, instead of always playing the other man's game, serving mammon, bowing and scraping for others. And what do you do when you bow and scrape and do for them? You're trying to make yourself look good. You want them to acknowledge what a great person you are, how wonderful you are, what a martyr you are, what a great volunteer you are, what a selfless person you are. You're just looking to glorify yourself. And in the process, you know what you do? You make them worse. Because they resent you, because deep down they know what you're up to. And they see that you're weakening them, and you're using them. And so there's no good in it. You have to wake up and become a real person and let your hair down and experience truth and love. And if there's anything I can do, I can awaken you to truth and love. Awaken you to God and His presence. It's like electricity. It's all around you. God's light is there. All you have to do is close your eyes. If you're sitting quietly at home right now, sitting in your room at your computer or at the radio quietly, close your eyes and see the spiritual light on the inside of your eyelids. You see the warm glow? Do you see the little pixels of light? That's God's light. Behold. And now what you must do is learn to live in the light and walk in the light and discover what the light is trying to tell you and become a real human being. And everything will improve. Your relationships will improve with your kids, your partner. Everything will improve. Not only that, But you'll bring a little brightness into the world, an otherwise dark world, not your brightness, but the light in which you walk, and which your words and your deeds testify to. You have to wake up and become a real person and let your hair down and experience truth and love. And if there's anything I can do, I can awaken you to truth and love, awaken you to God and His presence. It's like electricity. It's all around you. If you're sitting quietly at home right now, sitting in your room at your computer or at the radio quietly, close your eyes and see the spiritual light on the inside of your eyelids. You see the warm glow? Do you see the little pixels of light? That's God's light.
You have been listening to Shedding Shackles with your host, Roland Trujillo. Now you can listen to Roland anytime by logging on to www.sheddingshackles.com. You'll find lots of free, helpful information, and you can also order materials or make a donation by using your credit card. Once again, the web address is sheddingshackles.com. Please remember that Shedding Shackles is listener-supported. Thank you.